I've got to be real with you guys. That so-called win against Green Bay, that razor-thin 13-10 escape, it wasn't a triumph. It wasn't proof of toughness or grit. No, it was an indictment. It was a flashing red siren for everything broken inside Kevin Stefanski's stubborn quarterback philosophy. And if you watched it, you know exactly what I mean. Sure, the final scoreboard said victory. Andre Smith drilled a 55-yard miracle and the crowd went ballistic. But that wasn't joy filling the stadium. That was relief. Relief that we somehow escaped with our season still intact. But behind the scenes, inside those luxury boxes and locker room hallways, fury. Historic levels of fury. I'm told Jimmy Haslam stormed out of his suite demanding answers. Demanding to know why Shedeur Sanders, the most dynamic quarterback on this roster, is still holding a clipboard instead of holding this franchise in his hands. And look, let's not sugarcoat it. Joe Flacco gave us nothing. 0 touchdowns. A crushing interception. Barely 142 passing yards stretched across 4 of the most uninspired quarters you'll ever see. This wasn't a battle of heavyweights. This was Cleveland's offense looking lifeless against one of the weakest secondaries in the entire league. No explosive plays, no creativity, no spark. For 3 quarters, we put up 0 points. 0.
Tired of boring phone cases? Here's your chance. My Etsy shop is packed with exclusive designs that let you show off your team pride in style. And the best part, you'll unlock discounts when you hit favorite, more savings when you add to cart, and even surprise discounts on your second purchase. Don't wait. Click the link in the description and grab your favorite now.
And all the while, the one guy who could change everything was shackled on the sideline, reduced to being a spectator in his own story. Let's build a totem pole together. Smash like, subscribe, and comment. If this video hits 2,000 likes, that means we're beating the Detroit Lions. Let's make it happen. That's not football. That's negligence. And don't get it twisted. This isn't just bad luck or circumstance. This is systemic failure. Multiple league insiders have already confirmed what we suspected. Shedeur was lobbying pregame. He was begging to be used. Wildcat sets, red zone packages, anything. Just give him a chance. And Stefanski shut it all down. Why? Because he's clinging to some outdated philosophy about veteran stability. Pride over progress, comfort over courage, and the locker room knows it. Veterans are whispering. Receivers are fed up with the stale, predictable routes. Linemen admit they can't keep protecting a statue who won't move. And when that game ended, the emotions weren't celebration. They were survival. Relief that we got out alive, not pride in what we accomplished. The defining moment came late in the fourth. Down 10-0, Grant Delpit bails us out with an interception at the Packers' 28. Even then, Flacco needed 4 tries to punch it in against a soft prevent defense. That's not championship quarterbacking. That's hanging on by your fingernails. And the stadium felt it. Cheers for the kick quickly turned into chants. Chants for Shedeur Sanders, echoing from every section, from the cheap seats to the corporate suites. Social media detonated. Free Shedeur trended nationwide. Season ticket holders screamed, "We won despite you, Kevin." Jerseys were burned in the parking lot. That wasn't a victory party. It was an intervention. And the national media? They've already ripped Stefanski to shreds. Stephen A. called it malpractice. Orlovsky questioned whether Cleveland can even be taken seriously as contenders. Colin Cowherd went so far as to say Stefanski's job now depends on unleashing Sanders. And across the league, general managers are circling like sharks. They see what's happening. They see a franchise quarterback wasting away on the bench, and they're already calling Cleveland about trade scenarios. Ownership has noticed, too. I'm told Haslam, Andrew Berry, and Stefanski were locked in a post-game confrontation that stretched nearly 2 hours. Haslam demanded answers. Berry tried to play politician. Stefanski doubled down on his philosophy. No resolution, just more tension. And here's the maddening paradox. The Browns have everything else. An elite defense with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. Weapons like Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and David Njoku. A tough offensive line. Everything except the one thing that matters most. A dynamic quarterback. And instead of unleashing the rookie who has all the tools, we're chained to a veteran whose numbers scream backup. You want stats? Fine. Flacco is trudging along at 58% completions, 6.2 yards per attempt, a 31% third down conversion rate, and bottom-tier red zone efficiency. That's not just underwhelming. That's catastrophic in a division where Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati are all surging. And meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders sits. The kid with record-breaking college numbers, 6 flawless months of pro preparation, domination in training camp, precision in preseason, and leadership that his teammates already rally behind, wasted. 20 straight games without meaningful snaps. This is malpractice, and it's not just about football. It's about business. Sanders brings ratings, relevance, and revenue. Preseason games featuring him outdrew our regular season broadcasts. Sponsors salivate at his story. Fans flood in when his name is on the ticket. He is both the competitive answer and the financial lifeline. And yet, we bury him. And now the locker room is starting to fracture. Garrett has reportedly voiced support for a quarterback switch. Amari Cooper? He's watching his prime wither away. Statistically, his numbers have nosedived under this conservative scheme. Njoku? Reduced to blocking and dump-offs when he should be a red zone nightmare. These veterans know their championship window is fleeting, and they know Sanders is the guy who can unlock their potential. The truth? This organization is at a crossroads. Stay the course with Flacco and Stefanski's rigid system and watch the season die slowly. Or take the leap, hand the keys to Shedeur Sanders, and ignite the championship run that this roster deserves. Time is running out. Every week Sanders doesn't play is another week wasted. Another week where we sabotage his development and our shot at greatness. Fans know it. The media knows it. The players know it. Everyone sees the obvious, except the man making the call. And now you want to talk quarterbacks? Fine, let's talk. Joe Flacco? Yeah, he's here. And look, I respect the man, I really do. He's got a Super Bowl ring, he's been through the wars. But let's be honest with ourselves, he's 40 years old. His body can't take the beating anymore. You don't just outrun defenders at that age. You don't suddenly move faster when the clock of time is slowing you down. Eventually, he's going to get hurt. And when that happens, we're forced to lean on an unproven rookie. A kid most people outside of draft night probably couldn't even pick out of a lineup. Now, I'll tell you this. When I first saw Shedeur Sanders step on the field, he gave me chills. The poise, the arm, the way the moment didn't swallow him up, that was impressive. But then what did the Browns do? They threw him into chaos behind a patchwork line of guys who had no business being out there. Players who never even sniffed professional football again. He got buried under sacks that weren't even his fault, losses piling up because the foundation around him crumbled. It was malpractice, plain and simple. And now here we are, staring down Pittsburgh and Baltimore, real wolves, real defenses. And instead of giving Shedeur the keys, we're talking about throwing Dillon Gabriel into the fire. And let me be blunt, when the pressure cooker turns on, quarterbacks who aren't ready don't survive. They panic, they fold. That's why I'm praying, begging, hoping Shedeur gets his real shot. Because if anyone's built to handle it, it's him. But this is the Browns we're talking about. I know their history. I've lived it. And history tells me they'll probably screw this up, maybe even trade him before he gets the chance. Now think about this. Shedeur had options. The Ravens wanted him. The Eagles were in the mix. And you can't tell me those aren't dream franchises for a young quarterback. Baltimore has a history of drafting, developing, molding stars into legends. Philly? They've got Jalen Hurts, who embodies leadership and resilience. Both organizations breathe development. Both scream stability. And yet, Shedeur chose Cleveland. Why? Because he didn't want to wait behind Lamar Jackson or Hurts, hoping for an injury to open the door. He respected them too much for that. He didn't want to be a backup. He's not wired that way. Shedeur wants to start. He wants to be the guy. And here's the truth. In Cleveland, the opportunity is real. The Browns have cycled through quarterbacks like bags of chips for decades. Flacco won't last forever. Gabriel will get his turn. And when he struggles, because most rookies do, that door swings wide open for Shedeur Sanders. But let me warn you, system and fit matter more for quarterbacks than any other position in sports. Put a kid out there too soon, throw him into the storm before he's ready, and you can break him. You can shatter his confidence. You can ruin a career before it ever starts. That's what keeps me up at night about this, because Cleveland isn't patient. Cleveland is survival of the fittest. And history? History hasn't been kind. Sure, we've seen rare fairy tales, Tony Romo comes to mind, but those are exceptions. Most stories don't end that way. Let's build a totem pole together. Smash like, subscribe, and comment. If this video hits 2,000 likes, that means we're beating the Detroit Lions. Let's make it happen. Still, here's the paradox. In Cleveland, Shedeur might actually get that shot to become QB1 faster than anywhere else. It's risky. It's messy. It's not the perfect setup, but it's real. And that's why fans are restless. They see him standing on the sideline, helmet on, laser-focused, and they don't see a rookie. They see destiny waiting to unfold, and you can feel it now. 2 games into the season, and the air in Cleveland is thick with tension. Flacco looks done. Gabriel is a placeholder. And Shedeur Sanders is the storm forming just over the horizon. Fans chant his name. Talk radio begs for him. Social media demands it. Even Kevin Stefanski, whether he admits it or not, knows it's not a matter of if, it's when. This is Cleveland. A city that's lived through heartbreak after heartbreak, a fan base that's been begging for a savior under center for generations. And maybe, just maybe, the answer has been standing there all along, helmet in hand, waiting for his moment. So you ask me where this all goes? I'll tell you. The Browns are already in a quarterback controversy. The fuse has been lit, and when Shedeur Sanders finally steps onto that field, it won't just be about football anymore. It'll be about legacy, about faith, about whether Cleveland, after all these years, finally finds their guy. And trust me, this story is only just beginning.